So, round two of buses and transport and so on. But basically, the tournament organizer found a guy called Frank, and Frank offered to take me back to Dublin. And I'm like, fantastic. So I'm messaging my wife, trying to find a way to get from Dublin to Waterford, because at this point I'm knackered. I don't want to stay in Dublin overnight. Frank is like, okay, that's fine. So we're waiting to find out when the bus from Dublin to Waterford is, and we're having a good time, and we're just chatting and going along in the car. And Frank is one of the nicest guys I've met. He's really, just really kind. And then I get a message from my wife as we're moseying along, and it says, okay, so the bus down to Waterford is 7:45, and after that there's one at 10:30. I'm like, okay. So at that point it was probably 7:15, and I did not want to get the 10:30, but I didn't say that to Frank. I just said, well, there's a 7:45 one. He's like, okay, we can do this. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, no, we can do this. So he starts, completely legal, it's all legal, it's fine, but he starts kind of speeding up, and he starts driving a little bit more tightly. He's not just relaxing, he's trying to get me there on time. And we have to drive past the one of the stadiums in Dublin to get to the bus station, and it happens to be exactly the moment something was going on. So like, okay, crap, we might not make it. And he's like, no, we will make it. And he starts like dodging around these people who are just wandering onto the streets. Like, they just didn't give a crap about themselves. They're just like streaming onto the road like there was no traffic at all. And, we weren't the only car that was clearly in a rush to get somewhere. So he manages to get through it, and just as everyone's streaming past, it was kind of like that thing where, just as the car is going down, it was like an avalanche of people coming out behind us and going onto the road. But we managed to just stay ahead of the avalanche of people, just ahead as we're going through, and we managed to get past all of that. And he's like, we're about 4 minutes away. I'm like, okay, look, relax, I'll get to 10:30 or I'll stay in Dublin. He's like, no, we're going to do it. Okay, Frank. All right. So he keeps going. He manages to get me there exactly on time. So I jump out. I thank him. I start running around to get into the bus station to find the bus. And I get in and I'm looking around. There's no indication anywhere on any of the screens where this bus is. And I'm like, they should at least have it on the screen, even if it's just left, because it's still 7:45. None of them are the right one, so I've missed it. And I call my wife and I'm like, I've missed it. Is there any other bus service that goes at all? And she finds that there's a bus going across the river. I'm on the north side of the river, and I need to go back down onto the south side again to get to the one bus service that is running before 10:30 at night. What time does it leave? 8 o'clock on the dot. And it's a 10-12 minute walk for me. I don't know the area that well, so just get out and get a taxi. And I'm like, can you take me to the place where this coach service goes? And we get over there, and I don't see the bus stop where I thought it would be. And then the taxi driver goes, look at that, we've actually, is that your bus? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think it's my bus. So he starts speeding up, and the bus that I'm trying to get starts to pull out. And the taxi driver's like, no, you can still make it. I'm like, it's pulling out. I was like, no, go for it. So, I'm right behind the bus at this point. I'm right behind it. So I jump out of the taxi, leaving my cases accidentally, and I run up and I bang on the door because I see this woman has just gotten on the bus, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave her a chair, and I'm going to stop the door from closing. And the door closes anyway, so I'm like, shit, okay. So I go in front of the bus and I'm just knocking on it, can you let me in? Let me in. And he opens the door, and I'm like, please, can you just let me in? I'm just going to get him. He's like, no, I have to go. And, I have to leave on time. It's a minute and a half past 8, and I was supposed to leave at 8. I'm like, please. And then the lights change on him. So the lights change on him, and he's stuck exactly where he is because I delayed him. I'm like, okay, right. So I'm like, I just turned from him, and he's not too happy. But I turn from him and run back to the taxi, just hand the taxi driver a tenner. I don't know how much it cost really. Grab my case, he's like, go, go, and I'm like, okay, and I run up and I get on the bus, and then he closes, and then the lights change, and the guy starts driving off as I'm handing him the money, and I actually manage to get home. I actually managed to get all the way down, and I was so delighted with myself and so happy with Frank helping me and the taxi driver and so on. And yeah, and that was basically my first Kings of War tournament. Bit of an adventure getting there and getting home. I will still do the 2 videos on the 2 games I did play, and also the 1 video on the winners and so on. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I didn't enjoy living it. Yeah, so like, subscribe, blah blah blah. Twitter is @ManticMoments.